Beep, beep. What is up, ninjas? My name is Sam World, and in today's video, you're going to learn the basis of a modern techno track, exploration of the mind. So for this type of techno, we're going to utilize 130 BPM. 130 to 134 seems to be the norm for a lot of the artists that I'm utilizing for this reference, like Space 92, High Low. From there, I'm going to find a kick that I like. So I'm going to utilize Paradox Volume 4 for this, which is a brand new serum and sample pack that I've done for you guys. Volume 1 to 3 have been utilized by big producers like Hardwell, Umix, Space 92, Sam Wolf. So I'm going to utilize the kick Raptor, and we're just going to put it in. Click on the grid 1/4. Now, one of the cool things about the new modern techno kicks is how they just smack really hard. So one of the things that I like to teach you guys is utilization of an audio effect rack, which you can find over in the Ableton utility section. What this is going to do is pretty much create 2-3 new audio tracks inside of my current audio track. Now, this is useful for pretty much staying organized and not creating unnecessary amount of channels. But if you're trying to impress your friends, then by all means, duplicate the kick 3 times. However, all we're going to do here is go into list mode. We're going to right click. We're going to create a chain, and create a chain. Okay, we're going to lower all of them down. The first one is going to be the dry part of the kick. So we're going to hit Command R or Control R and just put dry. And then the second one, we're going to call the kick smacker. So this is what's going to make the kick sound like your favorite techno artist. Now, the approach I'm going to take in this video is utilizing the kick that we already have. However, you can always change the sample, utilize a rim shot, utilize percussion, pitch it down, pitch it up. And I'll make a video about this later on this YouTube channel. So make sure to subscribe if you're not, so you can get alerted when it's out. In the kick smacker, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an auto pan from Ableton. And what I'm using it is pretty much volume automation. We're going to have this amount set to 100. The rate, we're going to have it set to 1/4 because that's how often the kick hits. We're going to move the phase all the way down. So now we don't have left and right panning, but now it's going to be all volume. From there, we're going to move the shape solo. And I just want that initial part so we can offset it a bit. And that's all I want, that click. From there, we're going to pretty much get down to work, and we're going to either do an amp on the kick. You can do overdrive saturation. Pretty much, we're just going to over pronunciate it. So you're going to see this. That thing is smacking now. It adds that extra smack. Now imagine when you have a kick that isn't made by a good sound designer. Just kidding. But no, like a lot of the kicks in this pack are already going to have the smack added. There's some that don't. But whenever you have a kick and you want to turn it into a smacker, then this is a good formula to do it. All I recommend after that is, if you want to be clean about this, is utilize any cue, but just be careful not to use any cue that's going to mess with your face, the timing of the kick when it lands. Once we have that, now we can focus on the drums. So the traditional close hat in a techno track like this will always be rolling. But there are, of course, some little things here. You know, whenever I get students saying, I'm an advanced producer, but I don't know what's the last piece I'm missing, I'm going to show you guys a couple of things that usually makes them go, wow, why didn't I ever think of that? Okay, so we're going to go with one of the close hats in the pack. So I'm going to go with the RD09, which is a safe pick because it sounds very 9090. And we're going to drag this here. Now, the key thing with the rolling hat is that we want to input it, but we want to focus on the velocity, which is going to alter the rhythm. So for instance, everyone's going to use a 1/16 rolling hat, which sounds like this. However, what makes it different from every other is the sound you pick and also the velocity, because with the velocity, you control the rhythm, what the listener is going to perceive. For example, I could have this rhythm sound a little bit more hard on the 2 and the 4 here. And I forgot what they're called. You guys can help me out. I know this is the and then this is the what, the ah. So I can dictate the rhythm. I can even make it be more offbeat oriented. So I'll make these quiet. You can do a lot. Now, you don't have to go too crazy. You can easily like just have it like so. The offbeat one, we're going to put it all the way down or somewhat quieter because that's where the open hat goes. From here, let's move these around and then just copy and paste that. And let's add a bit of swing. Usually I recommend people put swing 16ths. Just a bit. It's going to give it a little bit of humanization, and it's just going to shift your 0.2 and your 0.4 a little to the right, as you can see here. Before it was like this, now it's like this. Swag, humanized. From there, we got to add an open hat. These are the things that we know we need to add, but for some reason, producers always like to shoot themselves and not start with them first to let inspiration take its toll. A lot of us just start with a kick and a bass, and then you wonder why you can't come up with any good ideas. You want to set yourself up in a way where like it inspires you. If you hear the intro of any song out there that's in the Beatport's Top 100, they're all going to inspire you. That's how you know you have something good that you can work with. I'm going to go with this RD09 one. Again, safe bet, but you can always take risks in these. And we're going to have the open hat here. Again, just a little velocity play just to make it sound different every time it hits. Yeah. From here, let's lower the sustain down on our close hat and get it going. Now for this reverb, I'm going to add a very small room reverb because it's constantly hitting. It doesn't need to have a long reverb. So that's where we can go with the smaller room style of reverbs. Maybe I'll have like a small hall or something to use, but not, we can use a small room to help us with the hats. Now let's add a little bit of flavor to our hats. For the close hat, I'm going to add a vocoder where I'm just going to be using it somewhat as a layer to give the high end of it a bit more love and also create some width on the close hat, giving it more depth. I'm adding that wide layer to it, which is this. And this is what we mean about wide. It's like you can hear it. If you're on headphones, you guys can hear it more over here. And now it's straight down the middle. So again, add this. Cool trick I learned from the Web Masterclass. The open hat, let's put an overdrive just to get it to smack a little harder. EQ to remove lows, because saturation and distortion does not discriminate, man. That shit will distort anything you give it, so you gotta be careful. Usually brings in a lot of lows you don't need. Okay, now let's set up the beautiful respace, okay? And this is what's gonna give us some really good already like tonal qualities to the track. Now, a lot of techno tracks will go with like a rumble or a res, rolling bass. It just depends what you're trying to make. For instance, L.I. Brown right now has been going for more rolling bass lines. Hilo's still doing a rumble with a sub layered in there, and Space 92 as well. But again, various ways to kind of do it, and you can always add a rumble as a layer if you wanted to. So what I'm going to do is use two saws, fine tune them like so, the analog way. So that way it stays down the center of the mix. I'm going to pick the key of F, F3. So -3 octaves. That's why we go with F3. From here, let's keep it simple. Just cover your highs with a filter. I have a whole section in this channel full of sound design if you guys want to learn about it. Okay, we're going to sidechain, which is going to pretty much move the bass out of the way of the kick, which is just ducking the volume, lowering the volume down. Okay, sidechain, we're going to go to our Evo kick. And I got to be more organized here. I called it black. It's a black kick. EQ out. Now from here, let's add a rumble into one of our channels. I want it more for atmosphere, so I'm going to add that and see how it sounds. So we're going to go with the hybrid reverb from Ableton. It's going to have a convolution and a normal style of reverb in it, but I love the convolution because it makes it feel a little bit more metaphorical, you know, like, oh yeah, I chose this rumble, which was from the Real Places section. It's supposed to mimic the reverb from, you know, like the Catholic Church, you know, the screams of the altar boy, but you get my drift. So we're going to go Concrete Hall. Cut the lows on that. We don't need them, but we do want the atmosphere. Let's make it larger. Bigger is better, as they say. And we can level it down. It doesn't need to be that loud. It's just more for like texture. And if you want, you can always distort it as well. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Some people like it rough. Okay, so from here, it's time to start building this up. We're going to add the bass loop now. So we're going to go into the Paradox Volume 4 pack. Now, again, you can use any sound bank out there, but I do recommend you utilize mine. I put a lot of hard work into them. I've done this for 10 years. What else do you need to hear? Hardwell uses them. Space 92, UMEC. Just trying to sell, guys. I know some of you guys don't like it, and you can't criticize the hustle, man. All right, so we're going to go with a bass top. And this is what's going to make this just start coming alive. We're starting creating layers that are all going to work together to give us a really cool rhythm. So for this one, you have a couple of options. 1/16, and then we're going to go here and you could do the roll. One body, one mind, one soul, one love. Have a little bit more groove, so that would give you more of a groovier techno track, which, yeah, those do exist. I like this one more. Let's go. Let's duplicate that. Now we're gonna add another bass. Elongate it. Start to EQ. So on this top bass, we're actually going to remove some of the highs. We don't need them because we still have a lead that we have to fit in. Got more of this. Got some delay. Let's program our delay. We go with echo. We got sweet homie. That's my flex. Let's add a little more here. We can add a lead now. Maybe like something juicy. And again, all we're doing is trying to create this sort of basis for what's going to be on top. There's going to be a melody, but these little things we're doing here are what's going to be in the intro of the song. And it's going to be what keeps that melody interesting and what you can fall back on every single time. So we can go into the ear candy section of the pack. I like this one, so I'm going to record it. Now, not everything needs to land on beat. That's one thing that you got to keep in mind. A lot of times we make the mistake of doing that, but if it's a pad or if it's something that can come in slowly, then you don't need to land on beat. Adding some echo. Now let's bring in a ride. This should make it more fun. The ride's gonna make this feel like we're actually like going ham. Let's add some reverb. Now I'm going to make a new reverb, but this one's going to be like medium or long length for like longer stuff that doesn't happen too often. But the cool thing is that I can also use it to give a little bit more sustain to that ride. So we're going to go hall. Let's choose maybe a dark hall. We're making techno. Set it to B. We got catfish. We got to bring it in. From here, we don't really hear a lot of percussion loops in techno. However, you can add some if you wanted to, which I'm just going to do with a percussion loop. Usually when it comes to percussions, I'm not too good, so I usually outsource What that means is, you know, sample packs, a lot of people will see them as, oh, you're stealing ideas. But the way I see it is I suck at drum loops. So I'm going to use sample packs to help with that. Okay, so for instance, oh yeah, I like that one because we can use more claps. I feel like we can cut little parts out and utilize it. So like little fills here and there. Yeah, there we go, like that. And then I want this part. And in my head, I heard a clap here. So I'm gonna grab that. Ooh, I like this. I'm gonna take that. And then grab that. Come on, you gotta dance. And again, we're just gonna add this reverb here and delay that we already have to create cohesion. So now that we have this, we actually have enough to like get the juices flowing on what kind of melody you would want. I mean, this is very friendly. We have everything we need. So now it's time to have fun and get into the leads part of the pack. So again, use any sound bank that you have for your favorite leads. So I'm going to use Paradox Volume 4. And let's see, maybe we could try Apex or something. Let's record that. Let's cut the fundamental a bit. This one has to land on beat because it's based on rate. Duplicate that to get another lead in there. I'm just gonna delete that and probably that, but then have this go here. So we can either decide to play on top of this with a ARP, or we can do call and responses with it. So for instance, let's see, we can go with funeral. So in this section, if you really want to go deaf, you can always add an ozone master. It's kind of like a fake master to like feel how it's going to feel like once it's finally like beefed up. So drop elements would be a lot faster. Let's make this more interesting by playing around with the mods. I'll play this as we go. Exploration of the mind. All right, guys. So Again, with this setup, you guys can see I'm having fun. I'm getting goosebumps. I'm like, holy shit, I'm like a great producer. So setting yourself up with something like this is always the key, building it up. Because from there, if you think about it, I'm going to turn off a lot of these channels. A track can literally start like this. That's all you're going to need. We're going to cut out the lows. Maybe we won't even have the Reese there, but a lot of this is just going to go away. All we're missing are effects. Here we go. We add the bass. Let's bring in the open one. Or no, we don't need that. Okay, close hats. Close hats. Exploration of the mind. Of course you... I'm playing. Okay, so it's all about having fun and how you want to approach the creation of the song, how you want to introduce stuff, and then from there, eventually you get to the sick melody. All right, guys, so as you guys can see, when we have the right sounds, it's a lot of fun making this kind of music. You know, it's a lot easier to nail the vibe, and it's a lot easier to just get inspired and get into the flow to create the music that you want to make. Now, if you guys want to support the pack, you can find it over at evilsounds.com. Big producers like Hardwell, Space 92, Umek, Weska are currently using it to make the new sound of modern techno. If you guys heard the Hardwell set at Ultra, there's some interesting acid sounds in one of his new IDs, so you guys got to check that out. With that being said, you guys take care and you guys have a great rest of your day.